This video is artificial intelligence free. The DS Digit Sum Sonnets, Part 1. We return to the 1609 quarto of Shakespeare's sonnets to see what we can find here. This is a companion video to Polyptoton's Glue, but it can be watched independently. I believe that I have discovered an organizing principle behind the sonnets. Out of necessity, this will be a gematria-sum heavy presentation. Those who do not want to deal with numbers are encouraged to just skip right to the end, where I make my conclusion. These are all of what I call the digit sum sonnets. The sum of the digits in each box is 17, and all but 2 of these poems are sequential. The gematria sum of all the decorative letters is 723. We subtract the total number of lines, 420, from that number to get 303. 303 subtract the number of lines in Sonnet 1, and we get 289. We will be subtracting the number of lines from Sonnet 1 in a few more puzzles. But why is 289 such an important number? 289 is 17 times 17. I next looked at sonnets which begin with the same letter. I began with these 4 sonnets: 17, 53, 108, and 125. Notice that all sonnets begin with the decorative double V's instead of W's. The sum of their digits is 33, which is the first puzzle with these sonnets. 33 is the symbolic number for the truth because it was the age that Christ allegedly died. I added the sonnet's numbers to get 303 once again. I again subtracted the number of lines from Sonnet 1 to get 289. In the third puzzle with the sonnets, I added the sonnet's numbers once again to get 303. I then subtracted the number of the broken sonnet, number 126, to get 177. I next subtracted the total of Roman number 5s, which are the double V's, to get 137. I again subtracted the missing number from Sonnet 1 to get 136, which is 17 times 8. These 3 sonnets, 54, 72, and 126, begin with an uppercase O. I added their numbers to get 252. I again subtracted the number of lines in Sonnet 1 to get 238. Why is that important? 238 is 17 times the gematria value of the letter O, which is 14. To me, this went well beyond coincidence. Somebody was organizing these sonnets according to gematria numbers. In the second puzzle with these sonnets, I added the 2 sonnets numbers to get 126. That's 54 and 72. I then subtracted the number from the broken sonnet to get 0. I subtracted it because, of course, the sonnet is allegedly broken. 0 alludes to the uppercase O's that begin each poem. And to this line from Sonnet 72, "My name be buried where my body is." And to these lines from Sonnet 126, the empty, broken lines. In other words, if you take the brackets and squeeze them together, you get two zeros. We have three sonnets that created two strong puzzles. These four sonnets begin with an uppercase L, 26, 36, 116, and 143. I added the sonnet's numbers to get 295, and I corrected the number for sonnet 116 from 119. I then subtracted the missing number 6 from that to get 289, which is once again 17 times 17. These sonnets begin with the letter I, sonnet 44 and 152. I added the sonnet's numbers to get 196. I subtracted sonnet number 9 to get 187, which is 17 times 11. I subtracted this number because of the dot behind the number. And of course, sonnet 9 also begins with an uppercase I. Also, the letter I is the ninth letter in the alphabet. So it seemed logical to me in the sequence of these numerical puzzles that we subtract something that's different from a group. Let's continue. I added these sonnets numbers to get 151, sonnet 62 and 89. They both begin with an uppercase S. I then subtracted this sonnet's number, 134, to get 17. I subtracted the number for this sonnet because the decorative S is smaller than the others. And like other groups, I subtract things that are different. In our second puzzle, we get the sum of the digits is 33, which indicates that a truth is being expressed. Let's continue. I added these sonnets numbers to get 189. That's 45 and 144. And I added the gematria values of the uppercase T's that begin both poems to get 227. And then I added the number of lines in the sonnets to get 255, which is 17 times 15. Let's continue. Sonnets 27 and 135 begin with the proper W. And notice that both sonnets have numbers whose digits add up to 9. I subtracted 27 from 135 to get 108. And next I added these gematria values to get 188, which is a digit sum number. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 8 is 17. Let's continue. Sonnets 35 and 107 begin with the letter N. 107 subtract 35 equals 72. I then added the gematria values, the uppercase N values, to get 98. Let's continue. Sonnets 63 and 117 begin with an uppercase letter A. I added these sonnet numbers to get 180. And I added the digits in the numbers to get 198. And then I subtracted the number of lines in the sonnets to get 170. This is a bit more complicated than most of them because it's adding and then subtracting. But you can see that we get to a significant number when we just do those very simple operations. Let's continue. These are the remaining digit-sum sonnets, 8, 98, and 153. The digits in their numbers add up to 34. The sonnet's numbers add to 259. I subtracted values of these letters, the uppercase M, F, and C, to get 238, which is 17 times 14. I subtracted the number of lines in Sonnet 1 from that sum to get 224. And then I subtracted the number of sonnets to get 221, which is 17 times 13. Here are other solutions to these simple puzzles. 11 are multiples of 17. And in the bottom register, we have the uppercase letters that match these puzzles. 2 are digit sum numbers. 2 symbolize truth. And we see that the true poet's number is 17. I believe that this is the organizing principle, or one organizing principle, behind the sonnets. And this is more evidence that Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, was Shakespeare. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.